All right, let's talk about something we all do, probably without a second thought, hitting that delete button. We see it as the final step, right? The end of the road for our data. But what if I told you that most of the time, it's actually just the beginning of a whole secret journey?
I mean, really think about it for a second. That photo you just untagged yourself from, that tweet you wish you'd never sent, maybe even an entire account you decided to close down. You hit delete, it vanishes from your screen, and you feel that little sense of relief. But
Does it just poof into thin air? Is it wiped from existence forever? Well, the truth is way, way more complicated. And honestly, a lot more interesting. And maybe even a little bit alarming. So let's pull back the curtain and see where it really goes.
Okay, so the first thing you have to wrap your head around is that, on pretty much any system you use, deletion is basically a magic trick. It's an illusion, and it's designed to make things easy for us.
so to you and me, the file looks gone. It's not there anymore. But behind the scenes, your computer or your phone is just taking a clever shortcut. It's not actually erasing the data. It's just removing the signpost that points to it and marking that space as, hey, this is free to be used again later. The data itself, it's still there, kind of like a ghost on the hard drive, just waiting for something new to be written over it. It's a cool term for it, actually, nominal deletion.
And this isn't just some abstract techie idea, right? This gap between what we think is happening and what's actually happening has some pretty wild real-world consequences. We've all seen it. You hit delete for me on WhatsApp thinking it's gone, but nope, it's still sitting right there on your friend's phone. Or remember that crazy Dropbox bug back in 2017? People woke up to find files they deleted 6 years earlier, just magically reappearing. These aren't just little whoopsies. They're proof that deleted almost never means gone.
So, if our data isn't really being deleted, then what's happening to it? Well, it enters this kind of hidden afterlife, a whole world of being recycled and repurposed in ways we probably never even imagined, let alone agreed to.
And to really get this, there's a key concept you need to know about: digital traces. Just think of these as the exhaust fumes of our online lives. Every single click, every typo we make, every weird thing we search for at 2 a.m., it all leaves behind these tiny little fragments of data. And for the longest time, everyone just thought of this stuff as digital junk.
But then, the tech world had this massive light bulb moment. They started asking, wait a second, what if all this trash we've been collecting, what if it's actually treasure?
And this quote, wow, it just nails it. It perfectly captures that exact shift in thinking. The detritus, the digital garbage we all leave behind, suddenly wasn't garbage anymore. It was gold dust. And that one idea, that change in perspective, gave birth to this enormous industry built entirely on recycling our data.
You know what? This whole thing is basically like industrial recycling, but for data. It starts with something that seems totally useless, like when you mistype something into Google. That's the byproduct. Then that data gets pulverized. It's cleaned up, they strip your name off it, and it gets tossed into this giant digital vat with billions of other typos. And finally, that huge, formless mass gets remolded into something new and valuable. For example, Google took all of our typos and used them to build one of the best spell checkers on the planet.
And that's a brilliant example, right? It seems super efficient, maybe even a little innovative. But here's the thing, that leads us to the central problem. What happens when the digital waste being recycled isn't something as harmless as a typo?
I mean, on the surface, the logic is sound. Why let all this perfectly good data go to waste when you could use it to build better, smarter systems? It feels like the ultimate win-win.
But this is the question we have to ask. What if that data comes from a place of real harm, or vulnerability, or exploitation? Can you really just clean it up by making it anonymous? Or does some of that toxicity, that original harm, still linger inside it? And if you want a really powerful kind of chilling example of this, look no further than the NIST facial recognition training dataset. A report found that it was built using recycled data from some incredibly sensitive sources. We're talking about images taken from child exploitation cases, photos of visa applicants, mugshots of people who've since passed away. This is the digital version of toxic waste, and it was repurposed without anyone's consent to train powerful surveillance AI.
So, yeah, it's pretty clear this whole hidden system of recycling is, well, it's deeply flawed, and it can be really, really harmful. It's basically built on a foundation of deception. So what's the alternative? We need a totally new way of thinking, one that's all about honesty and transparency.
And that brings us to this really promising new concept called explainable deletion, or XD for short.
The big idea here is simple. Make the entire deletion process something we can actually see, understand, and trust. It's a huge shift from just blindly trusting that delete button to a system where we have genuine knowledge and real control.
So what does XD actually mean? Well, it breaks down into 5 key things. Agency just means you can actually find the delete button and know how to use it. Assurance is getting some kind of proof that, yep, your data's gone. Control gives you options, like a little window of time to get your account back if you deleted it by accident. Compliance is about making sure companies follow the law. And then there's the big one, transparency. That means you finally get to know what's really going on behind the curtain.
Okay, that all sounds great, in theory. But what does it actually look like for you and me when we're using this stuff every day? Let's take an example. Say you're about to permanently delete a cloud storage account.
In an XD world, you wouldn't just get a pop-up with a bunch of legal jargon. You'd get clear, simple answers. What's being deleted? Your account info, your username, and all your photos. When will it actually be gone? The process starts now, but it'll take about 6 months. And who can get it after that? After those 6 months, nobody. Not you, not even us. That's what real transparency looks like. Just simple, direct information that actually puts you in the driver's seat.
So you see, that simple little click, it's not so simple after all. It's the front door to this hidden world of data recycling, and it's got some serious ethical baggage. But the power we have is to start asking for something better. So the next time you go to delete something, just pause for a second and ask yourself, is this just an illusion? Or is it explainable? Because the answer to that question could truly change the future of our digital lives.